PayPal stock is about to soar. I need you to save this date in your calendar. This is a tech stock that is down year to date. That's the same time that we've had the NASDAQ rise by over 40%. We've seen PayPal down year to date. And on a 1-year basis and a 5-year basis, this stock is down somewhere around 13%. That means if you bought shares back in 2018 and you held until today, you would be down on your money. It has been tough sledding for PayPal, but I believe that story is about to turn around in a massive way. And I actually think the turnaround has already started and some people are missing it. So we're going to talk about all that in this video, but first, if you're new here, I'm Austin. Thank you for being here. I'm a co-owner of CloudMusicSuite.com. I'm a stock market investor, and most importantly for this video, I'm a shareholder of PayPal. This is a relatively new position for me, having started buying in May of this year. Real quick, the channel's sitting at about 1,000 subscribers. I'm not sure where it'll be by the time I post this video, but we passed that goal last week. So if you're one of those subscribers and you're back, thank you for being back. I appreciate you in a great way. If you're not subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and drop a like for me. It helps the channel out a ton. And as a thank you for doing those two things, here's a picture of both my cats, Millie and Luna. They thank you for subscribing. All right, let's get into this with PayPal. Why do I think the stock's going to soar? What date is it going to start to move big on? And what my plan is with PayPal stock through the next 6 months. The main reasons that this stock is down so much is, first, there's a bunch of competitive threats out there like Square, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Shopify Pay, Amazon Pay, etc. All these big tech giants want their hand in the payment space because they understand how amazing of a business model this is. Second thing that's been moving the stock down is a CEO transition. The CEO made it public that he was leaving the company at the end of 2023. So it's not uncommon for a stock to move down heavily when there's a CEO transition, because this can signal big change for a company and its growth trajectory moving forward. And one thing the stock market hates is uncertainty. And since there's uncertainty around who is going to take over the CEO position at PayPal, the stock has been sold off in a massive way because the stock market really hates uncertainty. And then the last reason the stock's moved down big is actually margin pressure, because the high margin side of the business, which is the legacy branded PayPal side of the business, is kind of decreasing, slowing down a little bit, while Venmo and Braintree's the unbranded side of the business, which is a lower margin product line for them, has been taking up more and more of that revenue, which is bringing their margins down a little bit. That's not really what we like to see, but if they're able to build out the Braintree side of the business over time, they could very easily get back to margin expansions. But that's enough about why it's down. Let's talk about what date it's going to move on. The date it's going to move on that we should definitely mark on our calendars is going to be August 2nd. That's Wednesday of next week, August 2nd, after the close, somewhere around 4 p.m. What I'm looking for on this conference call is obviously massive earnings beats, but what I'm looking for mainly from this earnings release is actually inside of the press conference. I want to hear any progress they have around the CEO transition. A lot of people think this CEO transition is a bad thing, but often a CEO transition is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a sign that the business is evolving. Since the business is evolving towards Venmo and towards the Braintree sides of the business, as long as they find a CEO that's committed to evolving the business in that way and putting a lot of focus on the Braintree unbranded side of the business, putting a lot of focus on Venmo, and still keeping the PayPal side very strong as the legacy side of the business, then it's not necessarily going to be a bad thing. They can focus on one age range and demographic with the PayPal side. They can focus on another age range and demographic with Venmo side, and then they have the business to business side of the business with the white label product of Braintree. I'm going to be looking very closely at those GAAP EPS numbers. GAAP EPS from PayPal's Q2 guidance is supposed to be somewhere between 81 cents and 83 cents. I want to see either 83 cents or higher on that GAAP basis. And no matter what they post, if it's in the range of 81 to 83 cents or higher, the year over year comp is going to look amazing because they actually had negative EPS on a GAAP basis a year ago in Q2. EPS beats are going to be massive for PayPal for the next few quarters, so they can put to rest the idea that margin compression is not a worry for PayPal shareholders. If we see any EPS misses, expect big downside in the share price. Doesn't matter about the CEO transition. If we see EPS decreases, that's going to prove that the fear around the margin compression is real. So the GAAP EPS numbers are what I'm going to have my eye very closely attuned to on August 2nd after the bell. We also want to see revenue up somewhere between 7% and 10% on a spot basis. As long as they're above 7%, I'm happy. Obviously, the higher revenue growth, the better. And I could easily see them beating that 7% prior guidance if they have any big ink deals on the Braintree side of the business. We already saw the announcement about Venmo expanding more into Microsoft Store side. And that's nothing but positive for PayPal as we move forward. I don't think it'll be a massive deal in the numbers. We probably won't even see it in the numbers, but it is a good thing to see. So what I want to hear on the conference call is higher customer count on a quarter-over-quarter basis and definitely a year-over-year basis on the Braintree side of the business so that we can see that PayPal is expanding the B2B white label product that they have. I also want to see operating income higher than 1.05 billion this quarter in order to see about a 5% expansion quarter over quarter in operating income. If we see that, I'm confident that we'll see a massive beat on EPS. I also want to hear continued commentary around the buy now, pay later loan portfolio that they sold. They said they were increasing their share buyback substantially because of this sell. Are they going to keep that commitment strong? Are they going to keep on buying back shares as they understand fully that their share price is extremely depressed and, in my opinion, artificially suppressed? And then how much of their cash are they using to pay down debt? That $10 billion of debt, I really don't like to see on the books. If we can get a little bit of debt pay down and the share buybacks, that's going to put the stock in a better position and increase shareholder sentiment. Lastly, we definitely want to see positive, updated full year 2023 guidance. The net revenue guidance and the EPS guidance that PayPal is going to provide for the rest of 2023 is going to be really important for shareholders to wrap their head around how undervalued PayPal is right now. Every single board member at PayPal wants the stock price to move up. So assuming they've been executing on the business how I believe they have been, they're going to have a nice guidance update that allows them to actually come in the next quarter and beat that expectation. There's kind of a game in the stock market where guidance numbers will be sandbagged a little bit and then the company can come in and beat. And then they sandbag guidance again, the company can come in and beat. As long as it's positive guidance, it's not negative guidance, and they're trying to sandbag too much so they can get an earnings beat in Q3, I'll be happy. I'm okay with them playing that game. I get it. It's all part of the stock market madness and psychology. So it is what it is. What am I doing with my PayPal shares right now? Am I looking to do earnings trades? Am I going to short the stock? Am I going to sell because I think it's going to dip so I can buy back in later? No, I'm going to keep on buying PayPal. These earnings are probably not going to change my outlook on the stock in any way. If they report weak earnings, yeah, I'll be a little bit less bullish. If they report really strong earnings, yeah, I'll be a little bit more bullish. But I'm going to probably remain bullish on PayPal unless they just report a disaster of a quarter. We'll see. But I think it's going to be a very positive quarter for PayPal. I'm a buyer before these earnings. I'm a buyer after these earnings. I'm probably going to be a buyer for the next 6 months, maybe even the next 12 months. We'll see where the share price goes, but I am not close to my share goal yet with PayPal. I'm still buying shares pretty much every single week, sometimes every day of the week. This is one of those stocks that's like a coiled spring. It is ready to pop at any moment. I don't want to miss that pop, and I want to accumulate as many shares as I can before we see this massive 2x run that I think we're going to go on. That just is what it is. We'll see how the story plays out, but all I know right now is I'm a buyer. I want to hear your plan with PayPal. Are you doing anything specific with PayPal stock around earnings? Are you a holder of PayPal right now? Are you shorting PayPal? Are you staying on the sidelines of PayPal because you see too much risk and too much drama? I want to hear about it. Let me know in the comments. This is one of my favorite parts of posting here on YouTube, is hearing the comments from you guys down below and having a little bit of interaction. So post your comments down there about what you're doing with PayPal stock, what your general thesis is around PayPal stock. Thank you for being here and have an amazing day.